Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Private Investigator Advice, and this is the Private Investigator Advice podcast. This is going to be episode 101. Woohoo! We are headed towards a new goal of 200. I don't know if I'm going to hit that this year, but you know what? I think the goal for this year is you got to set goals, right? And that's one of the things I'm really bad at. I have like these big picture plans and I don't really break down the steps sometimes to get somewhere. And I think that is going to be the difference this year. For the remainder of the year, I'm going to write out my goals. I'm going to reverse engineer them to get me to where I want to be for not only PI advice, but for my other businesses. And I think this is going to be hopefully a better growth year for PI advice. But anyways, again, hey, thanks for guys tuning in. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. I'm just a regular dude who likes to share PI stuff and help people get on their journey to becoming a private investigator, either find out if this is the right job for you or to kind of, build the foundation for you on your journey. I would ask that, you could finish this episode, but I would ask that you go back to the beginning of the kind of like the podcast catalog and go through the first 10 podcasts and actually I'd actually just go through the whole catalog. If you like the first 10, keep going. And and that'll kind of let you know what this is going to be all about. So, just a quick update for anybody that is, participating in the giveaway. There's only a few days left. And if you're listening to this in the future, this won't apply to you. So this is just for everybody in the now. This is January 27, 2018. There is about, 4 or 5 days left for the giveaway to be over. So you make sure you get involved in that. And in short, there's a giveaway menu kind of tab on the website right now, kind of detailing the rules and how to do it. But essentially, you go to iTunes, you find the Private Investigator Advice podcast, you subscribe to it, and then you leave a review. Now, what I need you to do when you leave a review is screenshot that and email it to me at piadvicehq@gmail.com. And that way I will know that it was you who put that review in, and I can add you to the list for the free giveaway. So the giveaway is the Amazon Fire 7 tablet with 8 gigabytes of memory. I think it's upgradable. You can put a memory card in there or whatnot to put more in there. We watch movies, we read books from there. We do all kinds of things. It's not the most high-tech tablet in the world, but it will definitely get the job done for you. I read a lot of books on there. So anyways, that's that. That was the little introduction. So today, I learn a lot from a lot of different people, right? Like I'm always... And it's not necessarily in the niche of being a private investigator. And if anything, I hope the asset that you get from me over the years is that I don't live in a bubble of just the private investigation industry. And I think that's why I've been successful in different realms because of being a private investigator, because I don't live in that bubble. I'm trying to learn from other people outside that bubble and then bring it into the bubble, right? To help grow professionally and personally. And so with that being said, I came across a marketing presenter. I don't know, he's probably a couple months ago now. And he shared, because he'd done some research, he's in marketing. He said that before someone buys from you, they ask themselves 3 questions. And so I thought that was very fascinating because and he said this, and I believe it, that either you're asking yourself these things consciously or subconsciously, but either way, they're happening before you decide to, buy something, especially when it comes to, a person, your person buying someone's services. And what are we in? We are in the service-based business. We are serving other people. We might provide a product, but we're still serving them. And the product would be like your video and your reports and, the final thing in their hands is the product. The service is getting that information to put in the product. So anyways, I believe that what he was sharing is true. And those three things is what we're going to get into today. And I'm going to tie them in to our industry as a private investigator or soon to be. And you could definitely use these same things in any industry. I'm just tying it into what we're doing here. So anyways, what are the three questions that these people ask themselves? So the first one that I believe is incredibly true, and I can't stress this enough, and I'm always going to be stressing this to you, is the question they're going to ask is, can I trust you? And listen, this goes for a person that's buying private investigator services. This goes from private investigator to private investigator. This goes from company to private investigator. They want to know if they can trust the person or the company they're hiring. And that's just without a doubt plays an important part in their decision making. I know that sometimes people call up and trust might not be the biggest factor of it all, right? It's like there's not a lot of money being spent on it. So, and maybe money isn't a big deal to them. And so maybe that factor isn't as big for some people, but when people are spending a lot of money on your services, that's a lot of money. They want to trust you. They want to trust that you're not going to go take their money and run. They want to trust that you're going to provide the best services. And most likely they're going to want to have a relationship with you in some sort of time, even if it's just on that phone call and them getting to know you better and what your company is about and things like that. So without trust, I truly believe this, and it'll resonate through your entire being and your company. Without trust, any business you do get won't be sustainable, because there's always going to be that uneasy feeling about when they hire you to go do something like, is this person doing the best thing for me? And so that's what I would just say to you guys. And here's another thing, just to tap on trust a little bit more. Trust isn't always built in like a phone call. Sometimes it takes many, many times. You have to layer these things on people. For me, I can tell you, and you can ask anybody that knows me, anybody in my family, my group of core friends, that those relationships were built on trust. And I mean, to kind of further explain it, like in the Army, when you live with people, you work with people, you go have fun with these same people, you develop trust like no other. And so my core group of friends are in Colorado, they're in Texas, because that's where they live after we got out of the Army. But it's because I trust them. It's because I trust them. And of course I trust my family, but again, I've known them my whole life, right? But also, like even just the most recent kind of friend that I brought into my fold of my family, it took me 3 years to get to that point with him, because trust is so important. So if it's not built right away, maybe because it's limited interaction or whatever it is, he doesn't get into the family fold to where I can let him be around my family and my wife and things like that. And he knows it's like he even knows the story behind it, because he's always kind of surprised, like, wait, how many friends do you have, Andrew? Like close friends? And I'm like, dude, including you, so that's how I am. And I know a lot of people like that, whether they realize it or not. I'm very conscious of it. I'm trying to get better about it. I'm trying to put down my guard a little bit, I guess you could say, but that's for a whole nother story. So that's number one, trust. And like I said, trust isn't built overnight. And so in your marketing efforts, you really have to consider that. You have to understand that. And I've told you guys this before, but it's not just hey, you go talk to one person and then you're done with them. Like, no, you need to go back. You need to build relationships. And let me tell you something. The whole conversation you have with this person, your potential client of the future, does not have to be about work. Hey, Bob, how's your family? How's business? How are you doing? Give a crap about them. Give a crap about them. Let me tell you, man, it makes all the difference in the world. I want to take this another step further. Well, no, you know what? I'll incorporate. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share these other two, and then I'm going to tell you about a person who you probably already know, who kind of models this. And I know I'll get into that in a second. So the second question they're going to ask themselves is, do you care about me? And for private investigators, do you care about their assignment? How important it is to you, right? How important is their assignment to you? Like I said earlier, they want to trust you. They also want to know that you care about them. because they could be spending a lot of money with you and they don't want that to go to waste. So if somebody calls your business, calls you and speaks to you, you know that they're already in a bad place, or they're desperate for something. If they've gone to the point where they're looking for a private investigator, they are at their end, right? They can't do it themselves and they don't know who else to turn to. Maybe they've turned to, police or whatever, or to friends, and they can't get what they want. And so they're coming to you for help, and they want to know that you care. This even applies for you as if you're a subcontractor, or an employee. They want to know that you care about their thing. I know, even when, small business that I work for, it's even more instrumental to them to know that you give a crap about their business as much as they do, right? Because it's their money on the line. They're the one who are paying the checks, but they want to know that you care about their business, right? You're going to give the best effort if you're an employee. If you're a subcontractor working for somebody, they too want to know that you care about their assignments just as much as they do, and it's their company. It's not your company, right? You have your own business, but you're doing the work on behalf of them. They want to know that you care, right? It's important. It's important. Otherwise, they might not call you. If you're just, if you don't put the effort in, if you don't act like you give a care about the result, give a crap. I probably want to say crap. If you don't give a crap about them and their assignment, then they're going to go find somebody that does, because that's the person they're going to keep hiring. So are you going to go down the extra mile? Are you going to do the extra work? Are you going to do the due diligence on the file? Those types of things they're going to want to know. That's going to show that you care. So keep that in mind. And so if you get the opportunity to work an assignment for somebody, keep that in mind when you're doing these things that show like you went the extra mile for them, maybe doing something that they should have done, and you do it for them, and say, hey, I didn't know if you guys did this already. If you're working for another company, like, hey, I don't know if you caught this, but I caught this. Hey, I know you guys couldn't run vehicles, but I can, so I ran them for you. And just so you would have that information, if you ever decide to turn work this down the road, or different things like that. Just think about those small things. Okay. The due diligence. I would also ask, as I kind of close out of that little topic there, is I want you to look at the people around you. I want you to be self-aware about these things. What things do they do, your friends, the people around you, to let you know that they care about you? If it's your family, what do they do? What are the actions that they take to let you know? Not just the words, but the actions, because that's the most important thing. Anybody can say words. It's doing the thing to show you that they care is the important thing, right? And then I want you to look at your life and say, who are the people in your life that you don't think care about you? And tell me something. What are the differences between the two? Maybe let's just take your parents, for instance. Maybe your parents call you once a week to check on you. They're checking on you because they care about you. They want to know how you're doing. Now take the people that are on the other side of the spectrum, right? People you don't think they care about you. What does that look like? Do they call you every week? Do they check on you? Are they trying to hang out with you and spend time with you? Do they ask how your family's doing? Little things like that. So you transition that same type of behavior to the business world. Do you care about your clients? Do you check in on them? How are you doing without any expectation? How often do you go see your potential clients, the ones you're trying to court, and let them know the type of company or the type of person you are? How often do you go see them? What have you done to show that you care about them and their results and their company? Think about it. Just think about that. Okay. So the last thing, and which is an important thing, I think all these things are important in their own way. But the last one is, if you've got the first one, right, if they trust you, right, fantastic. That's a great building block for a relationship with a future client. If they know that you care about them, awesome. They're going to think about you. They're going to go, I go with so-and-so because I trust them and they care about me, right? That's the two things. But what if they have to ask whether you're even good at what you do, right? You care about them and, they trust you, but what if you're not good at what you do? That's the question they're going to ask themselves. Are you good at what you do? If they're going to hire you, the other two are great. But if you're not good at what you do, as much as they might have a relationship with you, they're not going to pick you. At least maybe not as pick you as much as they should. So just think about that. How is your future customer going to know you're good at what you do. Well, this is still a word of mouth business for many, many, many people. And that's attorneys talk to other attorneys. And I know so many people have built their businesses just on that because, I trust Bob's opinion of this investigator. Hey, let me talk to this investigator. And maybe that referral is like, okay, I trust Bob. Bob's going to, Bob cares about my business, and he wouldn't refer me to this investigator if, he didn't have the same feelings about that. And maybe this guy's supposed to be really good at what he does. So let me give him my business as well. Sometimes people find you through Google, Facebook, and there's stars on there, the social media reviews, right? And that's going to be another way that people see how good you are at what you do. A lot of those reviews are going to say, hey, Joe's investigation company, man. Oh my gosh, he was amazing. He laid everything out clearly for me, and I would totally hire this guy again. I found him through Google, but he's always going to be on my mind first when I need this done. So just think about those types of interactions. So everything you do needs to shine through, right? The relationships. When you do work for people, if you're doing these things, you're doing a good job, you care about them, they can trust you, they're going to leave those types of reviews, and that's going to trickle on to something else down the road. People are going to find like, oh man, this guy had a really great experience with this investigator. That's an extra vote of confidence. I know that this guy's good at what he does based off of, maybe not all the reviews, but some of them are going to, he's like, oh, that adds a layer of trust. And then they know that you're good at what you do, and they might consider even calling you. So then that opens the opportunity for more work. And, and I've talked about this type of stuff in the past about the people that in fact, I wrote a whole article on it. I might even have done the podcast. I can't remember, but there was three things, or three people that I buy from all the time. And I explain that. And if you look back at some of those people, and what they've done for me in the past as business owners, they were always serving me. When they did something, just generally speaking, just for their people, it's because they care. They get like this caring, and I trusted them because they were always trying to serve. They're always trying to give information. They're always trying to help. And even the local business owner here in Tacoma, like that guy is all about the customer. And through his service, I know he's good at what he does because I've watched him do it. And I feel like he cares, and he has conversations with me every time I walk into the store. Those types of things just layered on me. And so I will spend more money with that guy than somewhere else. Like if I had to, this is a RC car market, I would spend $10 more with him to reward him and help him for all the things that he's done for me over the past than to go buy it on Amazon or something like that. It's just through that relationship. And it's incredible for me. I don't think I would be still working in this industry if some of these things hadn't taken place in my own career. And again, I just learned that this is how clients look at things. This is how businesses look at business to business. I didn't realize that this was a thing, but I realized I've been doing it already, so it didn't matter. I didn't have to have someone point out to me. That's just kind of who I am. When I'm working for somebody, they trust me because I'm pretty straightforward with them. There's no riffraff, right? I just care about them and their business, even if it's not. If I'm an employee, I care about the success of that business. I don't want to sabotage it, right? That's not my intention. If I'm doing work for a company, I do work like it would be my own company. If I'm an employee, if I'm a subcontractor, doesn't matter. And I'm good at what I do, so people keep coming back and asking me to work for them. And the same thing will happen to you. It takes time to build these relationships. And I think everybody's in an instant gratification kind of world. So there's a guy I was going to tell you about at the beginning. I'm going to tell you now. So, Larry Kay, and we've talked about him before. He's one of the influencers that I recommend you always kind of keep an eye on, because he always provides good quality information for anybody in the investigation world. But this guy, so let's go down. Let's talk about Larry for a second. And before I started the podcast, I wasn't even planning on talking about Larry, but somebody that's been recent in my life that I can talk about these different things. Larry is the type of guy, that you can trust. right? And he doesn't even know I'm doing this. He won't even know until I tag him on this and let him know or email him. But anyways, so can you trust a guy like Larry? And I've seen Larry again, been posting, doing videos and stuff like that for just as long as I've been doing PI advice. And everything that I've watched him do kind of builds a layer of trust. And then when we started recently talking and corresponding over the past year, Larry comes at you with no expectation of receiving anything, because that's not the way his heart is. And so just through conversation and his transparency about things, because I am so huge about that. If someone tries to put a facade up of maybe it's financially or just their life, because there's a lot of people that do that. And I think actually Larry talked about this before, about how their businesses, like how they put a facade of how great they are and how well they're doing and things like that. I can see through things like that very quickly. And so when I see, if that's like a breaking a layer of trust with me, if I see something like that, because someone's trying to impress me or something like that, I'm not interested in that. I want to know the person. And so when I started corresponding with Larry, I felt like I got that. I felt like that he's just a really real person. And in turn, that opened up me to be more, not transparent, I want to use that word, but more open with him. Because when you're building a relationship, you don't just tell everybody your life story. So anyway, so that was one of the first things that he did. And then did he care about me, right? Like we're having this conversation. Larry started sharing things with me. I'd ask him questions. He's sharing things with me that he might not share with anybody in regards to, his business or his life. And he was the things that he was sharing with me and sending me things. I don't think anybody would do that, or not everybody would do that, I would say. And so what I got when he's rooting me on, and I talk about this I haven't talked about it with you guys, but when he's rooting me on and he's like a cheerleader for me, and he's kind of in the same industry as me, that builds a layer of trust with me. That I'm encouraged to have that kind of relationship, friendship with him through that. So I trust him. And through our conversations, I realized he gives a crap about me, and I care about him in regards to what he's doing, and I always hope the best for him. So this is me right now. I'm showing that I care about this guy because I'm talking about him, and obviously in a good way. So, it is Larry. Larry's good at what he does. I haven't bought. I bought his books. But I do think he's good at what he does. And I think he shows he's good at what he does through his life, like through his video podcasts or videos that he shares on YouTube. And so these little things that have layered on me. Actually, is he good at what he does? I saw that before I saw anything else, right? I saw that before I was able to talk to him and build the trust and or to know that he cared about me as a person. I was able to see this. He was good at what he did. And so that was the first layering foundation for me. I don't know if there's a specific order for these, but it might work. And one might start off and then another might kind of, start off on, what am I trying to say here? One person might find that, he cares about me. Then you build the trust. And then I find out you're good at what you do, and you don't necessarily know what order it's going to come in. So, that's just what I wanted to share with you today. And that was just, Larry's kind of a new person that's kind of I've been able to get to know better. I know that, he really cares about the people. Just hearing the stuff that he talks about and a lot of the stuff that he's transparent about in his own business. I think it's not the norm. It's not the norm. Everybody... It's maybe it's a natural thing, but everybody wants to put a facade about their lives, and I just don't. The facade thing just kills me. I just can't stand it because I can't trust somebody who's trying to be somebody they're not or acting like somebody they're really not, because it just doesn't foster a relationship with somebody, especially in business. And that is why when people want to partner with me, and I'm just being truthful here with you guys, when people try to partner with me through my own business, Fortified Investigative Services or Private Investigator Advice, if I feel like there's there's the fakeness in it, and any of these things aren't true, right? Like, maybe they really don't give a care about me. Maybe they're more interested in themselves. It's not really about fostering a relationship with PI advice or Fortified Investigative Services. It's really about their own benefit. It just doesn't go very far with me. So even when big companies come up and they're like, hey, we want to partner with you, and we get to talking, I'm like, this person just wants to take. That's all they want to do is just use me. I can't do the relationship with them. It just doesn't happen. And the money side of it's not that important because I'm not going to let someone just leverage me for something like that. So, anyways, I think you guys get the point. I'm kind of beating this into the ground here. Look at your heart as a business, as a person. And this is something I do every day. Well, even when I get on a podcast with you or when I'm doing a Facebook Live, I even pray about it a lot. I'll be like, just let me have the right heart when I'm sharing this information. And this is kind of like a prayer that I learned probably like five years ago. But it's a simple prayer. It's just something basically saying, just let me have the right heart about it. Anything that I say that doesn't serve these people, just let it just fall to the ground. Let it not stick to them. Like, only let the important things that are going to help them succeed stick to the listeners of the podcast or the people watching the videos, or people that are reading my content. And if you got it, and it's hard sometimes. It's hard to come into situations with the right heart. Everybody wants to be financially successful. Everybody wants to make money. But if you go into this with the right heart, I swear to goodness, over time, if you're just out to seriously serve somebody, the other stuff will take care of itself. If you serve your clients well, then down the road, you might get a referral from somebody else because you were referred. If you subcontract for companies and you serve them well, right? You have their best interests at heart. They can trust you and you do a good job, right? They're going to call you again for more work. Just think about it that way. This is such a long-term, down the road business. This isn't a short run business. The relationships we build are over time. And so if you're always doing your best for the person, there's no reason why you shouldn't be successful. And just not only in your business, but just in life. And so just always come at this with the right heart. I think it will fundamentally change, your world. I really, really, really do. I know that one of the people that this first started off was watching Larry interact with me and how he, oh gosh, I wish I could explain it to you guys better. I just know that the relationship that we were building, the friendship, the conversation, it wasn't to get something from me. It wasn't. And so just doing that, because he had like this servant's heart about it, just, hey, Andrew, let me tell you a little bit about this. Let me tell you a bit about the book that I wrote. Let me show you how to do that. Oh, dude, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to say that, Larry. You didn't have to share that with me. You didn't have to tell me your struggles on that or why it was hard to do or what was easy about it. You didn't have to tell me any of that, but you did. And it doesn't benefit you, but you did anyways. That's the type of mindset you need to have, giving without any expectation of receiving. Now, I'm not saying like, don't do work for free. I'm not, and that's a whole nother podcast we'll do. You got to work, you got to make your money. But just, I want you to get the spirit of it, the idea of that. Okay. So listen, I could totally drag this in forever. And if you've been on the podcast for this 30 minutes, I thank you for hanging around. I'm going to sum this up with an ad. So if you guys were just jumping on, listen guys, not just jumping on, sorry, this isn't a Facebook Live. Right now I have a template that's going to be for sale for just about 4 more days at this rate. It is 35. I should have been more prepared for this. A little over $35 for the super investigative bundle. I added the bundle of the workers' compensation questions and template and report example, and I think I even got a video walkthrough in there. I've added it to the other bundle and called it something different and kept it discounted even more, $35.97. That's going to go on till August, and then I'm going to take it down probably, or raise the price on that, because that bundle was only available for a couple weeks after the 100th episode when we're at 101. So August 1st, I think, is the last date for that. Also, I have plenty of other templates to check out, guys. I would be very happy if you decide to pick some up. We have the retainer agreement. All these are in the bundle, by the way. The retainer agreement, that's going to be important to have on hand. Again, you guys, it's a Word document. You can alter it, change it to fit your needs, or it might just be the way you like it and you don't change anything. We also have the client intake sheet, where it helps you collect some of the information from your client before you get started on any assignment. Actually, before you even do your retainer agreement, you need to have that filled out so you know what the objectives are, and then you could add it to your retainer agreement. And then we got the surveillance. Well, it's kind of like a bundle because you're getting the surveillance template, you're getting an example report, and a little video walkthrough. Surveillance is a great way to make money in the investigation world. So that's what we got going on. So definitely check that out. I thank you guys for all your support, all your kind words. Make sure you subscribe to the iTunes, to the podcast on iTunes or whatever your podcast player is, so you can get the notice when the podcast, each one has been put up. Same thing for YouTube. Subscribe to it. Get notifications. Hopefully you find value in all the videos and content that I provide for you guys. And what else? We had and yeah, if you want the email newsletter, that's good too. I would definitely sign up for that. Sometimes you miss the podcast, you miss the videos, and then I'll send you a newsletter and say, hey, you missed all this stuff. You need to check it out. So that's all I have for you guys today. That was episode 101. Thank you guys for following me on this journey. Keep learning, keep being a student, keep doing the right thing. I'll see you guys probably next week. Bye-bye.